G'day folks, my name's Scott, that's Pinhead. Welcome to another episode of Dominion Reviews and Playthroughs. Today, I'm reviewing Resident Evil 7 on the PlayStation 4, specifically with the PlayStation VR. PlayStation VR has been out since last October. It's a really cool piece of machinery. It's a little expensive. Right now I've had a bit of issue up till now recommending it based on its cost versus the quality of software available for it. There hasn't been a lot of great games. There's been some cool experiences like Batman VR, Until Dawn Rush of Blood, Eve Valkyrie was pretty cool. The Star Wars Rogue One mission that you get for free with Star Wars Battlefront is incredible. But all of these things are pretty short experiences to justify a $550 headset, a $90 camera, potentially $120 worth of motion controllers with certain games that require them. It's a big investment. Resident Evil 7, it's had a demo around for quite some time. A couple of months ago they updated that demo to be playable in VR, and that really sold me on the product. Now, to be clear, Resident Evil 7 does not require VR. It's totally playable on PlayStation, Xbox and PC on just regular television. The VR for me really enhanced the experience a lot. I'm a big horror fan, as I've said previously. I love horror games. Big fan of Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 4, Silent Hill 2, Outlast, Alien Isolation, many games I've gotten into. This, because of VR, has given me a more immersive experience than I've ever had, to the point where you literally feel like you're in a horror movie. It's great being in VR. VR is something that's really impossible to describe to you. You have to try it for yourself. There's a immersion that you just can't see by watching YouTubers playing it and seeing like footage through a television of someone using VR. It's not the same thing. Now, it's well known that the graphic quality, the fidelity is not the same inside VR as it is on a television, specifically with 4K TVs and such now. The screen in this thing is a 1080p screen, which most people's TVs are, but most people don't have their TV pressed up against their face. There is a flash screen effect that you can't get away from in this and most other VR headsets. That's a very small downside to a very big, amazing experience that it can provide. And by that I mean, until you've experienced VR, you can't understand the 3D that it provides. It does stereoscopic 3D the way you get in cinemas and things like that, but obviously because you have it already on your head, it doesn't require glasses and such. What it does is gives you the impression that you are literally in these environments. There's dust particles in the air and insects flying around and ambient lighting, and it sold the experience so intensely that it's just ridiculously cool. Now, the shit your pants factor is huge. You want a tight sphincter to play this game. There's heaps of jump scares, there's gratuitous gore, there's horrific violence. Being that main character in a horror movie and literally experiencing what they had in the fact that you're getting stabbed and cut and fed all kinds of horrible things and having to put your arm elbow deep into a toilet full of shit and all kinds of horrible stuff, which is clearly safe because you're in a video game experience, but it's so believable and it sells the experience so well that I loved every minute of that game from start to finish. I played it through 100% on VR, the entire experience. VR, I didn't suffer any motion sickness. Some people do, some people don't. I've experienced it on games previously like Drive Club and things like that, where I literally got to the point where that game was like, my brain is stop or I'll stop you. I didn't experience that in Resident Evil at all. You do get VR fatigue. I can't go more than a couple of hours of gameplay using VR without my brain going, I've had enough, let me out. The good side to that was I didn't finish the game really quickly. Like, I had it over a bunch of different sittings, and I found that during that time where I wasn't playing it, I was really craving to get back in there and do so. The playthrough was somewhere between 10 and 11 hours. I'm immediately going to go back and play it again. It unlocks content, there's more stuff to do. With this game, it ticked a lot of boxes I didn't expect it to. When it was shown early, it really came off like Outlast and Amnesia and all those kind of games where you're just helpless and running for your life and all that. That's not the case at all. There's parts of the game that are like that. I'm not going to go into any spoiler territory here or really ruin anything for you, but it has those traditional Resident Evil experiences that you would want. Crafting items and item management, and there is weaponry and there's some different environments. About the only small negative I'd give it is there's not a lot of variety in the type of enemies in the game, but that's a very small gripe about a very cool experience. One last thing that really sells VR and the Resident Evil experience was sound. PlayStation VR comes with a set of earbuds. They're okay. The VR itself produces 3D sound, so you don't have to worry about having external things like, Astro A40s and those kind of devices that have external sound processors. This does all of that, and it does it really well. What I have, which I'd really strongly recommend for VR, is a company named Plantronics. Make this headset, which is the RIG PlayStation 4 VR headset. They've done a few things with this to specifically suit VR, like its size. It fits over the VR headset comfortably, is completely adjustable. The angle of the headset and the way it sits, the angle of the way the cable comes out the back, so it runs down your back with the VR cables as opposed to coming out the bottom as they traditionally do. It has a removable microphone because the VR headset has a microphone in it anyway, so it's not another thing that's in your way. And another thing this has done is, which is a big deal with VR, is because you're encased in this helmet, if you have fully noise cancelling headphones on, you cannot hear anything. It's kind of unsafe, it's kind of frustrating to other people in the room. You can have the game blaring with these things on, getting the full 3D sound out of it, but I can still hear people talking in the room to me, which is a really good thing. Obviously, for safety factor, having fire alarms or, things going off in your house, another really great idea. Now, am I recommending you to rush out and buy PlayStation VR just to play Resident Evil? Maybe. Depends who you are and whether that's something that you can afford to do. It's the first fully fledged game, like I said, that you can play on there, and I adored every minute of it, and I just really want more experiences like this to be made now. Hopefully it shows that they can bring out games that work on traditional televisions as well as working with VR in conjunction, so they're not just building dedicated experiences, they're doing more universal experiences. Look, if you've already got PlayStation VR and you like horror games, this is a no-brainer. You should own and experience this product. If you don't, can you justify buying a $500 headset plus a camera plus a game? Only you would know that if you can afford to do it and you like horror. I strongly recommend it. If you can't, try it at a friend's house, see what you think of it. But this product is the shit. It is really, really, really good. I can't recommend it strongly enough. I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of the experience that I had. And that's about all I've got to tell you today, guys. So thanks for watching as always. Don't forget, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Recommend it to your friends. There'll be some film reviews coming pretty soon, and I've got some more guitar playthroughs coming up in the next week or so as well. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, folks.